Hello there, just making some adjustments and then we can start, so give me a minute or two. Alright, two things. I got my microphone repaired, so I want you guys to tell me if it sounds alright. Maybe it's too loud, maybe it's not loud enough. I prefer to know all of this before I start the stream, so feedback is appreciated. Audio is good, music is good, I hope. Actually, give me 1 second to listen to it myself. Alright. So, I promised a while back to hold these bi-weekly or monthly streams where I will play the game a little bit and talk about the progress that was made in that week or that month. And it's been a while since our last one of these update streams, so I thought I'd give another one a go. I wanted to do one in the weekends because that's when most people are able to watch these, but I have plans which I'm kind of committed to right now, so I will try to do it today instead. Now I have to warn you that I spent the entire day driving today, so I am a little tired, but I will try my best to make this stream entertaining and answer as many questions as possible. Now, unlike the previous two times, I have a Twitch chat open right next to me on a crappy laptop, so it's laggy and it freezes, but it's good enough to read a Twitch chat. So by all means, ask questions on Twitch. I will try to answer them, and yeah, I hope you can make this a good one. I prepared a folder of screenshots, pictures, and concept art that I will show you throughout the stream. All of this, which I'm about to show you in this stream, was worked on in the last 3 weeks. So I hope you're looking forward to that, and as always I will talk about why, how, what, and all that kind of stuff. So give me a second to launch the game and we will get started. Oh, actually, Deke just offered me something which could probably be included in the stream. So, Deke, if you are watching, I would love to show your ESP too. I got some updates from Clef, I think from Arksy, though I'm not sure if that was the older update or a newer one. I even got something from Ollie, who is a new landscaper of ours. So yeah, there's plenty of content to show you during this stream, both in-game and as 3D pieces and concept art. All the fan art you are seeing on screen, or fan art, all the concept art on screen is made by Roman Dubina, who is one of the best, if not the best, Elder Scrolls concept artists, right up there with Hieronymus, who's also working for us, and Skywind, just like Roman Dubina. So if you are interested in seeing more art, I will actually drop a link to his DeviantArt page in the YouTube chat right now. There's a slight delay. I'm waiting for one of our landscapers to send me his latest landscape plugin. So I hope he can get back to me as soon as possible, and then we will get started. And there it is. Awesome. Alright. Luckily, installing these is much easier. I think generally, so this should only take a minute or two. Out with the old, in with the new. Actually, Deke, I'm not entirely sure if this is any different from the one I had already, because I downloaded the latest update from you from our oh, awesome. I also got something from ArcSea. Alright, so we're gonna look at the Gold Coast and Blackwood for sure. I just got 2 brand new ESPs. Thank you guys. It actually helps a lot. I know delays are always annoying, but in this case, it's for the best. I do not want to... Okay. Alright. That should be good. I'm gonna fix my load order real quick and then we will hop on in game. Someone asks, are you adding content that wasn't in the base game? Most definitely. We are adding content that supports and enhances and expands the landscapes and lore, for instance. A good example was today's stream where Clef J worked on the what's it called? The waterfront district in the Imperial City, or on the Imperial City Isles. This district was very small in Oblivion, and we expanded it by quite a lot, which I will be able to show you today, actually, though I don't have his latest work, so it's pretty limited still, but that should give you a good idea of how we are adding new content to the game. And actually, on that note, we have someone working with us who is restoring content that was cut from the original game, which no one has actually played through. But yeah, you will be able to play that Oblivion, which is pretty exciting. And I just remembered I forgot to bring a drink, so I will have to pause the stream in an hour or so, considering I'm talking quite a lot. Yeah, we are in the waterfront district. Alright, so I guess this is where we are going to be starting today's stream. In the new waterfront district, which is by no means finished and has already been improved upon quite a lot earlier today. The waterfront district is the poorest district in or around the Imperial City. It's actually not much of a district since it's made out of improvised houses and cottages. There was never really supposed to be a district in this location, but people kind of started building little houses and shacks, and things got out of hand, and the Imperial Guard kind of let it slide. So now it's the poorest of the poor, lowest of the low area in Cyrodiil, essentially. It's even worse than Bravil. As you can see, we are using a lot of lower class houses, but also a few houses which you may recognize from Bravil. These houses are not necessarily final. For the time being, we don't have a lot of architectural meshes and assets to work with, so they kind of have to do for now. We hope to improve these and make them a bit more distinct from those in Bravil in the future. But for the time being, they fit fairly well and they get the job done. Now, the water district has been made to look a lot more populated and also more, for lack of a better word, poor. As you can see, there are a lot of muddy puddles on the streets, a lot of, you know, debris, broken wood, crates, all kinds of garbage that hasn't been cleaned up yet. Now, as far as the details go, the waterfront district at its current form, or in its current form, is still pretty limited as far as the smaller details go. When we do landscaping and level design, we generally like to make the bigger changes first, and then gradually start adding more details to them. So the waterfront, as you look at it right now, is still very limited and will be changed upon quite a bit. But it should give you a good idea of how we try to improve what was already there. Because half of these houses did not exist in Oblivion. Nor did the... what do you call these? Wooden walkway? I forgot what it's called in English. But yeah. I was hoping to get Clef's latest plugin actually for tonight's stream, but unfortunately we live on opposite sides of the world, so when I'm awake he either works or sleeps. Nonetheless, he did a pretty good job. He actually worked on the area we are walking through right now on today's stream, which again I do not have. And he expanded this part quite a bit. He also managed to get all the way to the graveyard, which is this little area right here, and made it a lot more cluttered, expanded it by quite a bit, and made it a bit more gruesome, and for lack of a better word, kind of fucked up. I mean, these people are poor, so he dug a big hole with a new casket in it and some bones on the side, you know, maybe grave robbers who thought they could steal some clothing or maybe a piece of jewelry. So yeah, very gruesome, but it's the details like that that make the game, or that will hopefully make this game pretty goddamn awesome.
It was an honor to serve with you, sir. Now that I've seen how it's done, I think my guardsmen and I can handle any new gates that open near Bruma.
Good. Alright, we will slowly make our way to... Yes, about the quest objectives. Because Oblivion didn't really have quest objectives like Skyrim had, our current pre-alpha quest build has empty quest stages. So, for instance, this objective would be to report my success to Joffrey. So, instead of complete objective 3, there should be like report to Joffrey, something along those lines. But since Oblivion didn't have this, we have to write these lines manually. We have to do this ourselves, which we simply haven't done because the quests are in such an early stage that any work that you might be doing on them right now might turn out to be a waste later. Plus, it's a very easy task. I mean, with 1 or 2 writers, you can get through it all in a matter of months if you really focus on it and really dedicate your time to it, which is a lot to ask. I understand that, but just to give you an idea. So we are slowly making our way to the main gate that leads to the Imperial City. I won't actually enter the Imperial City because there's not much to show. But I will show you the exterior for a little bit, and then we will move on to other areas that our amazing landscapers have been working on this week. Hypothetical, is it possible to port the entire world to a new Elder Scrolls game if they release it? Yes, most definitely. It kind of depends, because in order to import all these assets, you have to write custom tools, which is exactly what Zilav did for Skyblivion and Skywind. But that's something to keep in mind. It's not as simple as just dragging the folders of your meshes and textures into a new game. It doesn't work like that, not at all. So it'll be a lot of work, but it's possible. And I can imagine that if and when we finally do get a 6th Elder Scrolls game, which I'm guessing is in about 5 years, the remaining members of TS Renewal would be more than happy to port our mods to that newer game, if it does support mods, which I'm fairly certain they will, since Bethesda has made it a pretty big selling point that they are pretty keen on having mods for their games. But yeah, it really depends. All these engines can use different formats, and then getting them converted and working properly is pretty much our only and biggest concern right there. Alright, so for the main Imperial City Isle, we have made a pretty hefty amount of changes. Not all of which will be final. For instance, this area that we're walking in right now is pretty it's pretty rough in my opinion. It can definitely use more polishing and may need to be changed up quite a bit in order for it to look good and streamlined and fitting for the rest of the region. But what I can show you and what I can tell you that will stay is that we are working on actually supplying the people of Cyrodiil with more food. In Oblivion, there was a real lack of farms and sources where food could be grown and harvested from. So we have started to add more farms to the landscapes, and one of those farms, or one of the many farms, are located on the actual Imperial City Isle, which I can show you right now. So in Oblivion, you have the Imperial City, you have the several districts, which are right there, and then you have the Arcane University, the prison, and then lastly the waterfront. All the green landmass, surrounding the Imperial City Isle was essentially empty, except for these caves, the sewers, etc. Our take on the Imperial City is that in order to feed such a massive capital, you would need to use or utilize all the space you can get. So for instance, this area, that would mean to put down farms which can go grow crops that you can transport to the Imperial City to feed your citizens. So they can make bread, they can brew ale, etc. The same would go for the surrounding counties. For instance, Gavach, which has already been burnt down to the ground, is located on this big plateau, right? So there's not really any reason for there not to be some more houses on this plateau where maybe some less fortunate people would live, like the middle rich population. And then maybe down here there would be a few farms which would take their crops all the way up to the city. So those are ideas that we are playing with and implementing the best way we know how, to make the world feel a bit more lived in, maybe even immersive. Because exploring a vast and massive landscape like Cyrodiil can be a bit boring if there's not really anything to be found. So for people who might start exploring the Imperial City Isle, you will come across maybe a few farms. If you go closer to the water, you will find a boat and a place that looks like it's being used for a lot of fishing. So we try to make the world a bit more interesting that way, and actually reward the player for exploring. Because unlike in Oblivion, you don't really know what you're gonna come across, because the world is not empty. Alright, that's a strange crab. This is one of those areas that I'm talking about, which is a small small house that was added. This is actually based on some concept art that Roman Dabina did, which I will actually show you right now. Because it's pretty interesting to show the transition from concepts and ideas that I talked about to an actual thing in game that you can touch and explore. Give me a quick second to pull up this concept art. Luckily I'm very organized, so it only takes a second. Sure it shows. Yeah, there we go. So this is the concept art by Roman Dabina. And I've been going on and on and on about how I want more farms, how I want more content in Cyrodiil. So this is something that Clef J, Roman, and I came up with. This is the Imperial City Isle, as you can see. There are all these farms. There's wheat being grown, more wheat, windmill, and there's this little cottage with a few boats. Maybe someone who's a big fan of fishing. In the distance, you can see the waterfront district. More houses on the side. Actual ships that have crashed. More debris. And another idea which I had is that when you first get to the Imperial City, when you go across this bridge, you first have to pass Way, which has 2 houses and an inn. My idea for this was that Way seems like such a good place to have a successful inn, because all these traders and merchants will want to bring their merchandise to the Imperial City. Travelers will want to find a good place to rest for the night before they enter the Imperial City. That a location such as Way should be much more expanded. It should be much bigger, because there's so much money that could potentially be made there, so much room to grow, for instance, again, crops that you can bring to the Imperial City. It's so close to the biggest capital, or to the capital of essentially Cyrodiil and maybe all of Tamriel. I mean, this is the heart of Tamriel. So it seemed really odd to me that Way was only 3 houses big. That's something else that in time we will try to expand and make it an actual little settlement with an inn, with a well, some more farms, the like. So yeah, I thought that might be interesting to point out. Rova, no, you did not miss any quests just yet. Well, actually, just one. But the biggest focus for the stream will be looking at landscaping and talking about progress that had been made lately. Actually, come to think of it, I should probably use a newer character for this stream, since I've already done most of the quests that are anywhere close to being functional already. So, but yeah, again, chance for you to look at the concept art and what it looked like the game. Of course, it's very empty right now, and that's because in landscaping we work in what's called passes. First pass is big, massive changes to the landscape. For instance, make it higher, lower, extending here, extending the landscape further into the water, making the water around this area deeper and go further inland. That's what we work on in the first pass, and in the second pass we start adding more details to it. And this is Way that I was talking about. So actually Way is only 2 houses big, and one of the houses is an actual inn. So yeah, it would seem like a really good idea to expand this area, because the capital of Cyrodiil is right around the corner. So why not have more farms? Why not have a merchant, a general store, selling their goods, peddling to travelers? From a business perspective, it's a no-brainer. Are conversations going to be like in Oblivion, or will they remain like they are in Skyrim? Kind of depends on what you mean. If you're talking about quests and how the conversations with NPCs will go, it'll be like in Oblivion. If you're talking about the what's it called again? Like the random conversation that the NPCs will start. So far it's a no. So far those will not be included. Generic? No, it's not generic. I forgot the term. Which is really bad. I apologize. But they probably won't be included. One of our tech wizards was looking into it a while back. I don't know if he said for certain if it would not be possible. So yeah, it's a big maybe so far. Idle banter. No, it's... I think it did have a technical term, but yeah, it's just the random conversation that these NPCs would start from. Hey, how are you? Good, how are you? Fine. Have you heard about the High Elves? Yes. Bye. You know, those. Oblivion has been mocked for it because it was a really cool idea. Wasn't all that functional. Still fun to see NPCs converse with each other, but yeah, it didn't work all that well. Alright, so we checked out the new waterfront district. We had a look at the Imperial City Isle, which now has some farms on it, and from here on out we will take the stream to another area. I'm actually going to be looking at an area by our latest landscaper, because so far he hasn't been really introduced yet, so I will introduce him by showing his latest work, which is around the Chedenhall area. Thank you. I actually tried for the impression, alright? So I really appreciate that people are giving me such high grades. Awesome, great. Alright, so this is already an indication that someone has been working on this, because these dirt cliffs were not in the base Skyblivion build. For those of you who don't know, we work off of a stable 1-to-1 port of Oblivion. This is called Skyblivion 0.2. On top of that, we have an 0.3 update, which adds all these custom-made trees and miscellaneous stuff. And then we kind of work off of that to make our new landscapes. Our 3D artists make new weapons, make new assets that we can use in the environments to fill up the world and make it feel somewhat fresh and new. I'm actually running old trees. I'm hoping State can give me the new trees as soon as possible, because they are a pretty bad reflection in their current form. They look a lot better now. But yeah, actually let's go up here first, then we will make our way down to one of the newer areas. So this hasn't been really worked on all that much. This has been just touched upon to make it look a bit more natural. Before, I believe this water was still, there wasn't any flowing foam that leads to this rapid. That's been added. Some more cliffs to the side, some rocks down the middle. More watery foam. Show that this water is flowing from out of the city into this little lake. Still, it's a very nice looking area. But it's going to get better. Actually get a blessing. There we go. Eventually this will look a lot more impressive. Some nice magical effects, some actual good sound effects. For now, it's what we call functional, not final. More rock formations. And this is essentially where the new landscape starts to kick in. So we will make our way back to the path we were on previously, and then we will check out what has been changed. I'm actually going to be wearing this new Ember Field from Kettlewitch, because the Ember set was one of my favorite sets from the Shivering Isles DLC. It's not final, as you can see it's very glowy. It is transparent though, which is pretty cool, as it's supposed to be made out of this wax-like amberish material. Don't know if you've ever seen those fossilized mosquitoes in amber. Kind of that idea. Any progress on the custom UI shown a while back? Yes, actually. Which I might as well show now. I've mentioned that throughout the day I will show some progress that was made in the last few weeks. Actually, can someone from the developers team send me a link to that screenshot or concept art from Geese? Thank you very much, on Discord. In that case, I will show it in a few minutes because I don't have it on hand now. Actually, I got to download that one. Are you going to keep spellcrafting? Yes, if possible, we will try to reintroduce that. We most definitely will have our own Easter eggs in game. We try to keep them as subtle as possible, so you won't be ripped out of your game by seeing a massive dildo or something on the top of the Imperial City Tower. We will make sure it's very well hidden, and the best Easter egg is an Easter egg that only like 5% of your player base will actually be able to find. Just like one of the reasons why I like following, for instance, Oblivion, Morrowind, and Skyrim on Reddit, because every once in a while someone will share a screenshot of an Easter egg that even after playing this game for, I think, 2,000 hours, I've still not found. So yeah, Easter eggs are for the elite to find.
I'm waiting. A cure? You mean besides death? Such a thing is beyond our control. The body is so warped by vampirism, few could be able to revert its effects. Even fewer would care to try. The Guild of Mages might know more. Speak with Raminus Polus. He may be able to guide you.
There we go. Alright, so that's for Roven, one quest. Again, objectives not working, so let me give this a read. Alright, so complete objective 1 would be travel to the Arcane University and talk to Raminus Polus. That would be the new objective that we would have to write for this quest. Again, we're not doing this at the moment, though it's not a whole, or it's not a ginormous task and can be tackled by 1 or 2 individuals. The problem would be that these 2 writers would have to remain consistent, so they would have to be able to write similar fashion.
I'm waiting. Virtuous visitors to way shrines of Kinnereth may receive blessings of agility. Just go away.
Alrighty. So this is actually the end of the road. I didn't realize that. That's a more fun way, actually. This area is actually worked on by our new landscaper, whose name is Goodness, I always think it's Ollie, but now I'm thinking it's Quali. You do have to forgive me if I don't get your names right. I mean, our server is so big now, and I try to stay in touch with everyone. Yeah, it's Ollie. Love the Q because his last name or his other name is Kwong. But yeah, Ollie has been working on this area, and so far it's looking very well. It's actually the first area he worked on. So this was kind of his test. Now, because I'm a real pain in the ass, I'm going to be giving him a lot of feedback on this area because it has a lot of good things. There's also some less good things. But for the most part, I'm really impressed and really happy with what he made. So instead of the more or less empty hills, we now have a rock formation infested, natural looking hill slash mountain. Right below Hayden Hall. A nice water rapid leading down to the lake below. I should mention that most of the texture that you see right now on screen, or well, not most, but a good amount of these are going to be replaced, like this one, for instance. Very blurry, low res, not great to look at. I will show you some in-game textures that Gorgula has made. I want to show these, but it's kind of dark, so I'm not sure if you can see it properly. How many people are in your team now? I think landscaping alone, about 6 people. Then you have, I think, at least 10 3D artists, at least 4 2D artists. I think more than 10 3D artists actually. Then you have a handful of tech wizards, like let's say 5. I'm gonna guess about 50 people. And I'm a very social person. I'm just very bad with names. And I speak with at least half of these people, either through private chats or in their own channels, to give them some feedback or advice on a weekly basis. So it's getting harder and harder to keep up all the names and new people that join us. Plus, on top of that, I handle a lot of the volunteers, so I learn new people's name who don't actually end up contributing or joining the team at all, which can be very confusing. But anyway, back to what you're looking at on screen now. This area is looking really, really nice so far. Really digging the vibe. And it will look much better in time when we have our new grasses installed. When the trees are fixed up and we have more flora assets, like for instance these cattails, which are currently horrible. And we will replace those with higher quality assets as soon as possible. Once you guys are done, are you going to move on to Skywind or those Fallout remastered projects? It really depends on what project gets finished first, Skywind or Skyblivion. Might be a very close race. But there are already people from both projects working on the others, so yeah, I can imagine people from Skywind or Skyblivion moving over to the other project when one or the other is completed. Where is this? It's just below Cheydinhall. It's a new area that one of our new landscapers has been working on. I think this is the Weld or the Hardlands. I think this is the Hardlands. And I can't recall. Okay. Alright. I should use this new kick-ass sword from Hello Witch 2, which is the new children model, which I will show off a bit more later. Alright, it's time for a vote. Two of our landscapers just handed in their newest plugins. One is by Deekkeys for the Blackwood region, which is a swamp, and the other is by SKSE for the Gold Coast region, which is pretty much a big beach / sandstone area. So let me know which you want to see most, and that is where we will go to next. If you like the UI, don't, first of all. Second of all, it'll be improved on a lot in the future. I will show you a concept of it as soon as possible. Alright, SKSE, that vote doesn't count, sorry. Alright, we will start with... Alright, yeah, because actually someone brought up the UI again, I will see if someone from Skyblivion sent me the user interface concept, which they did not, which is not a big deal. I will find it myself. Give me 1 second to... There, at least you have some music to listen to. Sorry for keeping you waiting, I hate this. It doesn't matter how well I prepare, every time I stream I always realize that I forgot something. Like a curse. Plus it's my own fault for not downloading it at a time, which I always do. At this one. Ah, there we go, finally. Okay. Give me 1 sec to switch back to the game and I'll tab out. Yeah, that's fine. I'll tab out. There we go. Alright. So for people who noticed our user interface and thought it looked good or bad, this is the concept art for our user interface at this time. So the problem with the user interface right now is that it's more of a technical demo more than anything that will be final game. For instance, something that Oblivion had, it showed you what you had equipped, either spells, shield, weapons, weapon types, and it would show you how much charge these items had. So we tried to bring this back, and it is completely functional, so that's great. But the art for it is not completed yet at all. We've been doing a lot of testing and a lot of trial and errors with the compass. I can actually show you another picture of concept art for the compass. There we go. This was the first attempt at concept art for the compass, which has now turned into something a bit more minimalistic and simple and elegant. Again. Right there. Yeah, this is more or less what the concept will look like in its final form. I think it might also be good to show you the new trees, or the tweaked trees. Trees that you're looking at right now in my game are a heavy work in progress and pretty shite compared to what they look like now. Now that State has been doing some work on them. He's also been working on the distant LOD, so for instance in this picture it's really hard to distinguish the actual 3D rendered trees and the 2D or the LODs in the distance, which are right now of a very, very high quality, and actually of a higher quality than those found in Skyrim, which we can be pretty proud of. Again, you know, if I zoom in, it looks like shit, but you can see how good they look from a distance and how you can really distinguish them from the actual trees, which is pretty much what you want, and is better than what we have in Skyrim right now. So yeah, a lot of rambling, and time to head back to the game and give you people what you actually want to see. So, you people are under the misconception that I'm doing these streams for you alone. But I actually really enjoy talking about the mod and about our aims and what we try to accomplish. So, yeah, this is just as much a pleasure for me as it is for you. Or at least I hope it's somewhat of a pleasure to kind of get an idea of how these things work behind the scenes. Actually, I really need to get a drink, so I'm gonna hop back into the game, bring you to a nice... Whoops, I smashed the microphone. Bring you to a nice location, and then I'm gonna head out for 2 minutes to get something to drink, because talking this much without anything doesn't really go well with me. And I should really level up. And if you haven't yet, you should really join our Discord server, which should be in the description, as well as follow us on Twitter, social media, all of it's down below. And if you use the command !Discord, you will actually get an automatic link in chat, which works on YouTube and Twitch. As you can see, the Nightbot gives you a link. You can also use stuff like !Uptime to see how long we've been streaming for. I'll travel when are nearby. Oh. Oh, come on. This is Skyrim in a nutshell. Like, there's always like a hidden mud crab or a rat somewhere. You can't get. Third time's the charm. There we go. Good question. How will this mod compare to Skyrim when it comes to performance? It looks a lot better than vanilla Skyrim, so I assume it will have higher requirements. If you're talking about the LOD that I just showed, which are indeed of a very high quality, performance-wise, they actually barely have any impact at all. But yeah, in general, the game will be a bit more resource-heavy on your computer than vanilla Skyrim. This is for two reasons, because first of all, we are using higher... That's an interesting place to travel to. We're using higher quality assets. So this, yeah, this can eat up performance, but not in a massive way. We do try to make sure that our game is very performance friendly and very well optimized. But the thing that we have going for us is that we don't have to make sure this game is playable on consoles. We don't have that limitation to work with, or to be held back by. So yeah, we do try to fill up the landscape a bit more than you would if you would be releasing this game or mod for a console. So I'd say if you can run Skyrim on medium graphics, you will be just fine. Alright, I will be back in about 5 minutes, so don't go anywhere, and see you in a bit. And yes, this is the Ember Shield. And I will try to go into an Oblivion gate, but I will not promise anything. All right. Hope the audio is still good. Let's get back to it. So, earlier I asked you guys if you wanted to see the Blackwood region or the Gold Coast region, both of which I received new plugins from our landscapers. And Blackwood got the most votes, which means that we're looking at Blackwood first, and then we are still going to be checking out the Gold Coast. Now, I still want to hear from you guys. If there's any place in particular you want me to go to, especially from a certain Funslider in the Twitch chat, since he's actually the one who worked on this. In the meantime, I will walk around a little and tell you a bit about the region and about what has been changed and what will change. So, Blackwood. Blackwood is a marsh, swamp-ish area in Cyrodiil. In Oblivion, it was way, way above sea level, which frankly does not make any sense for a swamp. So, as you can see by all the floating trees and rocks, we lowered it. It's far lower now, and it's more on actual sea level. On top of that, we made it a lot more flat. Flat with lots of water and ponds and rock formations, trees, grass, etc. Now, in its current form, it might look a bit scary, since it's all very mundane, and kind of similar and empty. But that's because in landscaping we work in what's called passes. We have multiple passes. Pass 1 being really big general changes to the landscape. For instance, the lowering of the region and lowering of the trees, rocks, etc. Now on the second pass you would start adding more details. So for instance, around this Aelid ruin, which Deek Keys worked on in his stream, you can see he started detailing the area a bit. These stone slabs are placed pretty neatly. There are some rock formations. In the exterior you can see some rock formations. That's actually a pretty bad example. There we go. These are the ones I was looking for. So this is what you would be doing in the second pass, adding a bit more detail to the landscape. Still not going overboard, still not spending like an hour on one small area, but making it look like a place that wasn't really handcrafted, but make it look like it got the way it got over time. Now, third pass will be adding a lot of smaller details, so you will be starting to add plants, little pebbles, maybe some more debris to the ruin. Hidden treasures, for instance, maybe a corpse or a skeleton. Maybe a skeleton with a pickaxe who thought it would be a good idea to start mining some of these Aelid stones and see if he could find some riches. Stuff like that. And then in the fourth and final pass, you start to look at any mistakes you made. For instance, a half invisible stone, a stone that's kind of floating off of the ground. And then once all of that is done, probably our lead landscaper will go through all the areas bit by bit to see if we are happy with the end result, and we will talk it through. And hopefully be able to put it into the final game and release an awesome, polished and amazing looking mod with actual unique and interesting landscapes to explore. Yeah, good call. I will change the weather to clear. I actually don't know the command, so we will do it the old-fashioned way. Which should probably also be mentioned is that these new weathers are done by Stade, who has been doing a fantastic job lately on multiple fronts. And his new weathers really shine. There we go. Clear weathers. I'll actually show you off the Iliad Ruin again to give you a better idea. Actually, a lot easier to see right now. Yeah, this area is not finished, but it's starting to look really, really good. And actually, what I almost forgot is that when Diki first showed me his, or shared his plugin, I found this Iliad plateau that for some reason just, I don't know, it looks really, really, really good. Really awesome. Okay, yeah, ignore this. Alright. Seems we found a bit of a bug. And I almost drowned. Fine. What could this be? Do I have an old plugin installed? Fuck. I'm not sure. Anyway, this is what I wanted to show you. I don't know, for some reason it just looked really interesting, and the way all these rocks are placed, it just looks very natural and kind of, I don't know, mysterious. Yeah, it might be a load order issue, or because I have maybe an older plugin of Vue installed, I'm not sure. Maybe the two aren't playing nice, who knows. But yeah, I think Deke also worked on a nearby fortress. That should be that one. Let's check that out and then make our way to other parts of Blackwood. It's actually a very strange but amusing bug. Alright, let's swim down. So confused right now. Yep, this is confusing. Alright, back up to the surface, I guess. Are there plans for any of the fortresses or forts to be garrisoned by legionnaires? Ruined fortresses, not so much. We could have some legionnaires stationed there temporarily. We do want to... Is this the right one? No, it's not. Fort Telman. What's that? Oh, I'm blind. Alright, that will be our heading then. Cleared. Very bad. Three. Oh, too fast. Oh god. Yep, nope. Fast. Oh god, and now the entire world's loading around me. Yeah, we done? Nope, we're not done. We could create some additional spells. Currently that's a lot of extra work on an already pretty hefty workload, so now I'm gonna say no. Can we game? Yeah, can we? Nope. Yeah, it's a new shield. It's actually the Ember Shield. It was made by Kettle Witch. It's actually a pretty interesting piece since it has a very, very cool handle. Very fitting for the Shivering Isles. As you can see, those are two goat men holding on to what looks like a spine. And that's the handguard. Or the handle. SW, there's so much stuff that's getting fixed. How can we... I ran the opposite way. But yeah, there's a lot of... okay. A lot of stuff that's being fixed. For people who just joined and were kind of scared shitless right there. The entire landscape was lowered, so okay, yeah, I really need to just fix this. Give me a second to see what's the problem here. I'm guessing it's a load order issue. Enjoy some music and concept art, it's fine. Must go on. Right, I'm hoping that this will fix it, but I doubt it, to be honest. This might actually be a good time to talk about and show some progress that was made in the last 3 or so weeks. So before I go back in game, I will pull up my folder of progress images and show you some stuff that we have been working on. So without further ado, we will start with concept art for Battlehorn Castle by Roman Debina. This castle was actually worked on already by Clev J. I don't think it's in any of my plugins though. Fairly sure that it isn't. But this is our take on the Battlehorn Castle, which was a DLC for Oblivion. It included a small quest line and a pretty awesome castle. Based on this concept art, we will more or less try to create or recreate this castle. It's actually pretty much looking like the concept art already. More or less a matter of adding all the smaller details around it now. But yeah, this place should be looking a lot more interesting in Skyblivion than it did in Oblivion. Though, to be fair, in Oblivion it already looked pretty awesome, so yeah, should be good. Next up we have new banners which are being worked on. Stuff like this is never truly finished, but essentially this is what they will look like in game. And I actually have a few more of these. As you can see in Oblivion, they were really almost plastic-like looking. And considering the place that you will be finding these in, I really like the touch of dirt and messiness of it all. Much better fit. Alright. And these are the trees I showed of earlier. These are trees that have been edited by Stade. So the trees that you see in my game right now are actually worse looking, as you can probably tell, than the ones that Stade currently has and has been tweaking. Now, he's also been working on the LOD, which is basically like a low quality, low performance, distant version of this tree, which doesn't actually get loaded in until you get very close. Now these new LODs are looking so good that it's really hard now to distinguish the actual tree out there from the distant tree, which is a low quality version of the one that you're looking at right now. Which is especially noticeable when you look at this picture right here, when you can see how good these LODs look in the distance, which is a funny thing because in Skyrim they really didn't look all that good. That's kind of cool that we in a mod are actually able to provide you with better distant detail than in the game that we are building upon, which in my opinion is a pretty big deal, since it's really distracting and annoying when you see these trees popping in all around you all the time. So happy days, and big credits to Stade for actually tackling this issue and spending so much time to fix it. Oh yeah, right, so this is actually a really interesting piece. This piece of concept art was completed this week by one of our... He's not really new anymore, but one of our newer concept artists, Rob. He made a piece of concept for the Battle Axe of Hatred, which is a unique item you could get in Oblivion. Now, as you can see, the original concept art was pretty straightforward. It was just an ordinary iron battle axe. Nothing really special about it at all. So yeah, we aim to fix that, and from a distance it looks really cool. But the actual axe itself has the story behind the origin of the axe engraved on it. And if I go to... Whoops, wrong Rob. Let's see. There we go. I will try to, or I will link to his ArtStation page on YouTube. If someone can repost this on Twitch too, that would be really appreciated. If you click on the link that I just sent in chat, you will be linked to an ArtStation page which belongs to the concept artist who made this. Now in this post he writes the lore of this axe, which reads: it recalls the betrayal of Jagar Tharn in stylized fairy tale-like fashion from when he thrusted. Whatever, I can read. Sorry, shouldn't have started to begin with. But yeah, the story behind is pretty cool. It's engraved in the axe. I'm sorry, I'm kind of tired now. I'm gonna keep going through these. You can read it in your own time. I'm not even going to try. So feel free to laugh at me, and then we will move on to the next, which are banners, and more banners, and even more. And then we get to another piece, to the Dawnfang redesign, also by Rob, which actually got a small update to the hilt because people didn't really like it. We added back the wings, which a lot of people seem to be missing, and that's why we always ask people to criticize us and leave feedback, because it really does help us create a better product in the end. And it's easier to make changes to the concept art than it is to make changes to the finalized sword, which has been in the game for a while. So yeah, thank you for always providing us with feedback. But the general idea behind our new weaponry is that we try to go for a more realistic design and at the same time make it recognizable to the player. To make it look cool, make it look functional, but also make it look recognizable, which I think we did a pretty good job of with the Dawnfang. And in my honest opinion, I really dislike most of the swords in Oblivion because they are nothing more than gigantic World of Warcraft pedals. I mean, you can row a boat with this thing. So yeah, I'm really happy about the new design. And I understand that for a lot of people, change is the devil, and change is never a good thing. In this case, I think we can get past it. Pretty sure. Also interesting, concept art by one of our 3D artists for the new Oblivion gate. And he actually posted an update on... Oh no, yeah, no, that was through a private message, actually. Might be interesting to show the first progress he made on the actual model. There it is. So yeah, this is the concept art for the new Oblivion gates, which are even more monstrous looking. And here is the first render of this gate. Now this is all a very heavy work in progress. So do keep that in mind. But yeah, this is the very first iteration of those new gates. Now around these gates, we will luckily have more, as you can see from the concept art, clutter-like assets to work with. So we are able to fill the ground with these massive spikes and other alien and dangerous-looking objects to kind of deter from people from entering it. But you know, we are the hero of Kavach, so we don't really have a choice in the matter. Actually, funny thing you should ask about Lesser Daedras. Technically not a Lesser Daedra, but I got an update today from Adam, who showed us this. The Silavai. I'm not sure how to pronounce this, but it's one of the Daedric creatures from Oblivion. This was done in, I think, a day. So, still very much work in progress, as pretty much anything that you see on screen today. But it should give you a pretty good idea of the direction we are heading in. Let me actually pull up his name so I can get it correct. Adam Danby made this. Oh crap, yeah, it's not showing. God damn it. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There we go. Yeah, I'm not a professional streamer. All right, so forgive me. Akatosh and Mehrunes Dagon are going to be really hard to work on. They're going to be real challenging because they're two of the most iconic creatures in that game, but they're also two creatures that you will barely see, so it's kind of a matter of how much work should be put into those, because you can only see them once. If it's up to me, I want to make sure that they look mind-blowing, but at the same time that's not really a realistic thing to do, since it'll be a lot of work to create one of those creatures, especially Mehrunes Dagon, because that thing is huge, so it has to be very detailed and high quality, because it's going to be blown up so much in size, so you can really see every detail of the creature. But yeah, time will tell how good that's going to be working out. I have high hopes, but I also want to stay realistic, which is really hard when you're doing a project like this, because everyone has ideas and everyone wants to improve this and that, and at some point you kind of have to cut the crap, make a decision, and not go overboard. But yeah, this was the Skyblivion. One of those. Feel free to pick. This is the concept art of the user interface that we showed a little bit earlier today. Very simplistic, minimalistic. We wanted to have a bit of an imperial design. So, elegant, effective, sharp corners. With the Imperial City in the background. I'm almost through with the slideshow, so you guys can hang in for a bit longer. We will get back to the actual gameplay. This is also something interesting to show off. It's our goblin creature, which was made by Hakan Kamar, which you may know from the weekly creature streams, which are currently on hold because he is on a holiday. But before he went on holiday, we did those every week, and we will start doing those again when he gets back. I actually showed the wrong... Yes, I did. Nope. I didn't. No, I didn't. Alright, good. So, on the left you see his first take on the goblin. And then with some discussion from me, Shoe Monkey, and Geese, this is the feedback we kind of settled on. And once more, we have my paint over. Wait, is this mine? No, it's not. Okay, yeah. On my latest feedback, we changed the nails a bit to make them more claw-like, because I imagined that these goblins would use their disgusting long nails both as weapons and as tools. Tools, for instance, to cut meat, to to dig, but also to inflict damage on anyone who enters their lair. Now, your feet are not as much weapons as your hands could be, so those should be more stumpy and more to get a grip, for instance, to climb a mountainside. Whereas those hands really should be almost dagger-like, because one of their animations is literally them lashing out as if they're felines. Yeah, that's always interesting to show off. And let's see, what do we have? Ah, more concept art. So this is concept art for the for Mehrunes Razor, which was done by Geese. And in a second, I will show you the 3D model, which is a combination of a few of these daggers. Where's the dagger? Alright, so here's the actual dagger in a more finalized state. So it's very interesting to see those concepts actually turn into something that we are able to put in game. Now, this was made by Ramiros, who is actually new on the team. This was his first task, which he finished in record time. And he was very patient with me and my nitpicking. That's always a plus. And the result is really, really nice. And even more concept art this time around for the Mithril armor, which, fun fact, Michael Kirkbride, who has a big, or had a big impact on the lore of the Elder Scrolls, was really against, because there was no real reason to have Mithril in the Elder Scrolls universe, and it's still not really known how this is made. In Skyrim it was not included for obvious reasons. Plus it's a bit of a grab from Lord of the Rings, which I always thought was interesting. I mean, the Mithril armor was my favorite armor set in game, but when you look at its origin, it's not really known where it's from. If you say Mithril, you immediately think of Lord of the Rings, which is what it was derived from. So yeah, interesting stuff. Also from Ramiros, he did this today. It's one of the new soul gems. He wanted to do something new. Oblivion soul gems all look kind of familiar except for the black gem. He's going to try and make them a bit more distinct. Okay, wait, so back to the concept art for just a second. Alright, so someone who, or to people who don't like it, I want to show you the original Mithril armor for a second to kind of give a comparison between the two. As you can see, the concept art is heavily inspired by it. But I mean, this is Skyblivion. It's an Oblivion remake. It has to be included. And I really do like it. It's just that I find it interesting that Michael Kirkbride really didn't want to include it at all. So yeah. And we're almost done with looking at stuff. Last weapon, Children's by Kilowitch, which now has a really sick looking sheath. It's really badass. Some more. This is actually a submission by a new texture artist who has not yet been introduced, but these are supposed to be for, correct me if I'm wrong, Leowin. They're not final yet, they will be improved upon further, but yeah, these will be more or less the Leowin walls. Again, the Xivili, and that was it for the slideshow. So let's go back in game, check out some of those locations, go to the Gold Coast. Shit, it's... what time is it? Almost 11. Oh no, it's not. Yeah, go in game, check out some landscaping, and yeah, have a good time, ask your questions, and then I will end the stream in about an hour or two. Yeah, it's totally possible to get a basic version of Skyblivion with no changes at all. Honestly, if you're not going to be using any of the changes, you might as well play Oblivion. Though, I still see the appeal of using Skyrim's engine. But yeah, I can promise you... I mean, I understand people hate change. Change always sucks, but then we get used to it, and then we look back at it a year later, and you realize that it really wasn't that bad. In some cases, it was even better. I think that Skyblivion is just that. If you don't want to use the changes, that's fine. But my advice is to do yourself a favor, suck it up, and I will promise you that after playing through it for an hour, you will be in love with the world, and you will never want to go back. Okay, so I hope the underwater bug is fixed. It might not be, in which case we will just have to swim. Okay, so far so good. Really scared to walk around. Nope. Okay, never mind. We're gonna do this with the free cam. Alright, so this is a fortress that Deke's worked on. I think in a stream. I might be saying that wrong, actually. But yeah, I'm totally gonna butcher this, but the idea was that this is a fortress of which the main entrance has been blocked off. So you have to find a different way in. How you get in, I actually don't know, because I have not played around this area yet, and I have not actually seen it myself. But I will actually look around for a bit to see if I can find an entrance. If not, he might be able to tell. Let me check if the ESP was loaded last. Give me a minute. Thought I put it all the way to the bottom, but I might be wrong. I was wrong. Lower tower, alright. Okay, so I look at YouTube stream for 1 second, and the first thing I read is, I mean, it's fair, but still a bit weird. It's kind of weird. Demon boobs. So, I'm not sure what you guys are doing up there, but as long as you're having a good time, I suppose. I would like to ask you to keep the chat on topic, though, but yeah. 2030 Old School 6 hype. Alright, hope this fixes it. If not, too bad. Can't help it. Oh, it looks to be fixed. Wait! Alright. Deke, feel free to call me an idiot for the rest of Skyblivion's development. I earned it. Okay, so there's a ramp on the lower tower. A ramp up the lower tower. On or up? This looks kind of like ramp. That one looks to be like the lower tower, so... This the ramp. Oh yeah, it is. Awesome. Wait, so... a little puzzle before you can get inside. Very cool. I like it. Shh. That's scary. Right. Very nice. If I'm not mistaken. Saw a chest. If there's one thing I like in Elder Scrolls games, it's finding chests with stuff. Oh, come on, I had it right the first time. Right there for the take. Yeah! There we go. It's how it's done. 9 gold. I'm a rich man. No worries, no problems. Easy peasy. Alright, I have to say, Deke, I really like that idea. Really awesome. And it's fairly simple to figure out. I mean, if you spend about a minute of walking about. So, kudos. Very nice. Again, for people who just tuned in, this is the Blackwood region in Cyrodiil. There's a lot of stuff floating right now, and that's because we lowered the Blackwood region from, I think, like 20 meters above sea level to about sea level, because it's a swamp. There's supposed to be a lot of water trapped in these swamps. So that's why you see a lot of the trees and rocks floating right now. It's also why a lot of the landscape seems empty. It's all still being worked on. It's all being filled up, slowly but steadily. in the end, it's going to look amazing. Promise you that. The areas that Deke has really been working on to start, you know, to clutter up and add some details to are really looking amazing. So I have good faith in Deke and his abilities to turn this swamp into an actual swamp. I'll never get tired of these way shrines. Always looked really awesome in game. So this is actually another area that Deke has been working on, it seems. Really nice work on those rock formations. This is actually the first time I'm playing, or I'm walking through this new area, so I have to ask, is this a new area or an old area revamped? I mean, judging by the new map marker, I'm going to go with a new area. Ooh, sweet Aelid Ruin in the background. Drunken Dragon Inn. Okay, it's in with an actual sign, so that should be an old location then. Man, very nice. I didn't know you finished this much already, or that you worked on this much, this big a region already. That's a pretty big surprise. For the people who don't know, the Twitch user Funslider is actually the landscaper who worked on this area. He sent me his latest ESP just before we get started, and I actually hadn't seen this. Damn. This is looking really nice. Dude, I'm loving the way you turned this Allied Ruin into this piece of trash. But still, you know, it remains like this big, elegant tower. That's really nice work. Very cool indeed. Look at that. Universe. The entire landscape that you're looking at right now used to be about this high. This is the Blackwood region, which is a swamp slash marsh-like area. In the original game, it wasn't much of a swamp or marsh at all. So we nuked the entire place, brought it down to about sea level, and started enhancing it from there. So in Oblivion, it was a collection of hills, and in Skyblivion, it's an actual low to the ground, filled with water swamp. Not to discredit Oblivion in any way, but the landscape was randomly generated, and if you read some books and if you invest some time to get to know the lore of Cyrodiil and the way all the different regions of Cyrodiil are described, then you will learn that Oblivion wasn't very true to the lore at all. And we are trying our best to make all regions very unique and in a way more lore friendly than the original game. Right, actually something I can show. Our new goblin. Oh, yep. Okay, so oh, fuck. The problem there is that the game still thinks that we're all the way up there. So when I spawn in a creature or any item for that matter, they drop from all up there, all the way up there. But it's fine because I can resurrect one of these suckers. This is actually the first creature in Skyrim modding history which uses custom behaviors and animations. So far we've seen plenty of creatures use new models, but none of them have actually used custom behaviors like this. Which is pretty damn cool. So, usually for a project like this, you would use, for instance, the animations of the Falmer, which you can see used to be our placeholder creature. But instead of using an obvious animation from Skyrim, which as soon as you would see it, would make you go like, that looks like a Falmer, but it's different. So instead of using that, we can use actual new animations and behaviors, which really helps sell the idea that this is not just Oblivion, or not just Skyrim with a hint of Oblivion, but it's actually Oblivion, or a proper remake of it. Oh yeah. Mono, you better get used to it. Oblivion is real. And we need to get this finished. Yeah, so Orman, or Monocleus, is actually one of the founders of Skyblivion, who is currently in chat with us. And the history behind Skyblivion is indeed pretty funny, where it originally was nothing more than a fun side project, as he said, between him and Zilav, who is also fairly well known in the Skyrim modding community. But yeah, our team has really grown a lot, and I mean, the first quest conversion was a pretty big success, which since then has been tweaked a lot. And instead of just a cool idea, Skyblivion is really becoming a reality that we can all see being released in a reasonable time frame. God damn, Deke. I mean, you did a fantastic job on this area. Jesus Christ. I'm actually astounded right now. Before going into the stream, I wasn't aware that so much work had been done on this area already. I mean, it's a lot of detailing in specific areas. But it's looking really, really awesome. Alright. Alright, alright, alright. Well, I think that's about it for the Blackwood region. Unless Liam has anything else. Oh, this is nice. Nice little pond. Lily pad. Yeah, unless there's anything more, which I don't think there really is. Though, at the same time, clearly I was mistaken when I... What the fuck? When I launched the stream. Thought we had a lot less content to go through. But yeah, I think it's about time we show some work from SKSE in the Gold Coast area. So let's pick this Nirn root, kill this mud crab, and do just that. The user interface that you're looking at right now is not final in any way. I showed some concept art for the new user interface a while back. Yeah, so the entire Ember armor set has not been completed yet. It's actually still in a concept art stage right now. I can show you the shield. It was made by Kettlewitch. It's still not final. The shaders are a bit wanky. But he's currently working on Chillrend. He might get back after that to the shield. I'm not sure. But the shield itself is actually very, very interesting because, well, of course, it's from the Shivering Isles DLC, and everything in the Shivering Isles is kind of strange and messed up. And the shield actually consists, or the handle consists out of two goatmen hanging on to what looks like a spine, a bloody spine. So, yeah, the Ember Shield is not boring. Pretty much the opposite. It's very interesting looking. I personally like it a lot. We did have actually our one of our newer artists finish the new chainmail armor set. It's currently in game. This is just the Oblivion version. It doesn't look that special. This was just ported from Oblivion, and the new version actually looks really, really nice. But because it's not in game, I am not able to show that off just yet. But we will show that off next time, I'm sure. For now, if there aren't any mud crabs, which there are, I will travel to the Gold Coast region and we will look at something else. Something else to point out that might be interesting is the river leading from the sea into the Imperial City actually can be traveled by ships. I'm not sure if this was overlooked by Bethesda at the time, but Leowyn has completely cut off the river. So what we're going to be doing exactly isn't decided yet. We had two ideas: either to create like something of a drawbridge, which would always be closed because the player has to be able to walk from one side or the other, or actually put Leowyn up much higher to make some sort of canal with a bridge leading across it, where ships could pass through without being blocked by it. But yeah, the idea is that eventually the ships will be able to pass through or underneath, or at the very least past Leowyn, and find their way all the way to the Imperial City waterfront, where they can ditch their goods. I thought that would be interesting kind of talk about. Also, all the cities have their own custom map markers. So Leowyn, Jadenhall, Ruma, Imperial City. Where's Breville? There's Breville. Ingrad, there it is. Anvil, Oral. Did I forget one? I did. Nope. Alright, very good. Let's start at Anvil and show off some of the Gold Coast that Arctis has been working on, which again will be a bit of a surprise since he worked on this plugin and I have not yet seen it myself. Might want to look at Fort Redman. Alright, then we will do that first to finish up Blackwood. That's not a big problem that the icons are outdated. At least it's still interesting or cool to show that we worked on making actual unique icons. But yeah, Damien and MK are two of our UI artists. So if you have questions about the user interface, they are the go-to guys to ask. Just outside, so... Gonna go south, east, north. Would be nice if we had some clear weathers. This works, I think. All right, not bad. I believe this is actually a location from the Fighters Guild quest where you have to slaughter a group of bandits that one of the new Fighter Guild's members was affiliated with. Alright, this is actually it's a pretty nice area. Turned out pretty nice. Have you thought about adding a quest that would allow the player to rebuild Kavach? Yes, but this will be a ton of work, and we already have too much work on our plate as it is, so... Would it be awesome to have? Definitely. Is it realistic to work on this? No. Unfortunately not. Plus there is Kavach rebuild, which will hopefully be portable to Oblivion. Time will tell. Alright, now it's time to go to Anvil. Check out the Gold Coast region. Actually, let's just go to the docks and skip Anvil because there's not much to show. We are trying to remake as many assets as we can. Of course, certain assets have priority over others. For instance, weapons and armors are pretty important since the player has to wear and equip those all the time. I mean, if you look at a pixelated, high-quality sword all the time, that will kind of ruin your experience. Smaller stuff, for instance, like a piece of fruit might not be as important, but ideally you would want everything to be at least more detailed than it was. But this is also a good moment to take some time to show appreciation to our texture department. These fantastic 4K textures have been done by Gorgula, who is our lead texture artist on the team. He does stream occasionally. Did some work on the sand textures that you can see right now on screen a week or two ago, which are looking very nice. Without further ado, let's walk through the Gold Coast area. Now, Similar to the Blackwood region, the Gold Coast has been changed fairly significantly. Across the board, the region is much more flat than it was. It's supposed to be a coastal region, and in the lore it's been described as a collection of very mild hills and flat plains. So it's a bit similar to, for instance, the tundra in Skyrim, with some more hills, lots of sand, lots of yellow goldish grass, and an addition of our own, which is sandstone. Along the shores you will find some sandstone cliffs. The rocks in the area are also made out of sandstone instead of the regular rock found in the rest of Cyrodiil. The beaches are much more, for lack of a better word, beach-like. In Oblivion, the beaches kind of sank into the ocean very rapidly. In Skyblivion, you're actually able to wade through the water for a bit before you have to start swimming. Currently, the beaches are very empty. As I've mentioned a few times, the first pass, we focus on general landscaping. We don't really get into the smaller, tedious details yet. Actually, a piece of concept art which I can share with you for this region shows what our aim is for this area. There it is. So this is what we want the Gold Coast area to eventually look like. These sandstone cliffs separating the barren beaches and the luscious lands above. Certain distinction between the areas that the water and sands really gets to, and then the further you go away, the more overgrown it gets. Lots of mud crabs, lots of destroyed and dead trees, lots of little pebbles and stones that have been washed up. Actual waves, which we can add thanks to the Dawnguard DLC, I think, which added waves to the water. We're actually able to reuse those resources. And as you can see, a little camp from a local fisherman, maybe hunter, even a bandit. And of course, when you have these big sandstone cliffs, there's usually a lot of debris and collections of little pieces of sandstone. Yeah. Have you heard of the High Elves? Yeah, Oblivion is a classic. Actually going to be committing a sin. Yes, I'm going to rush through the area a little tiny bit. I'm not entirely sure what has all been changed. This has been changed a bit. And we have a lot of...
Pay up, or else.
Oh, alright.
Actually, that's the way this one prefers it. Well, well, look who we've got here.
Bad kitty. Right, I actually turned off the UI so you can see better. You're actually able to see some of the new grasses already. which are not finalized yet. We have to retexture them. Give you a bit of an idea of how we are trying to improve the landscape. The cliffs that are on screen right now are placeholders. They were made by JRC, but quality-wise, they are not the best. And when it comes to projects like these, you can't be too picky. But we do have certain quality standards that these assets currently don't meet. Unfortunately. But yeah. This area was worked on by our landscaper Arxie, who so far has been doing a fantastic job at making this place worth exploring and unique and interesting. Let me find a way around this little rock formation right there. We can get a better look. Very nice. Is the thunder in game or the weather turning shite out? Oops, I fell. Might as well follow the flow. As always, what you're looking at right now is a work in progress. It's not. Nope, it's in game. Alright, good. Yeah, the seagull sound effects are really fucking annoying. They really, really are. We are trying to get a team together who can work on new sound effects. I mean, an area like the Gold Coast region, seagulls would be pretty common on certain locations. For instance, there's this new area right here which has a fishery in which seagulls would fit very nicely. But yeah, you shouldn't really be hearing them out here. Also, something that would fit really well in the Gold Coast region will be lots of crickets. But yeah, we will fix that in time. Alright, Arxia will give a look at the river. I think it's the river that leads to Arkavaj to... Why can't I... Such, that's the one I was looking for. Does the river lead to Such by any chance? Oh, I did not have God mode toggle on. Good thing I didn't die. Alright, so across the board we try to add more settlements and content to Skyblivion to make the world feel more realistic and lived in. The seas near Anvil is a great place for a local fishery to rise. I mean, there's all this open water, lots of fish. And there's a big port city where you can sell these fish just south of here. With our new boat model by Marcus, which plays sidewards because something with importing. I'm not sure. Clef did that. But yeah, this should give you a general look of, or general idea of what the Gold Coast region will look like. ArkSea has been doing a very good job so far with limited assets, and it will only get better in the future. You don't donate to the project. We really appreciate it if people share our work though. For instance, this stream. Or any updates we post on social media. That's always really appreciated. And yes, the waves do look good. We eventually want to have them all across the shoreline. Because, I mean, ocean. Waves belong. Shoreline. Yeah. Okay, so I've been told that the river has been redone, but the current LOD fucks it up. Ah, yeah, I can see. Alright, very nice. Shame of the LOD though. Right, let's get around this and have a look at Such. As some of you might know, Such was a city that was left out of Oblivion. It was completely scrapped from the game. And replaced with a single fortress, which was called Fortress Such. Of course, being the Skyblivion team, this didn't really sit well with us. So, as always, we started with a piece of concept art. You have the ruined walls and towers of Such, located on half a plateau of sandstone, which would make it great for defense. Look at that. And I should have the images of where Such was supposed to be located. Or less. If I can find it. No, I can't. That's fine. We'll take a look at what ArkSea came up with so far. Now, what you're about to see is, once again, a heavy work in progress. We are using a lot of placeholder assets. For instance, currently for Such, Whiterun walls. When we do have the proper assets, those will be replaced. For now, best we have. I'm actually going to be starting off with the Shrine of Malakath, damn it. Oh yeah, right. Gold Coast, Orcs, Malakath. So this is a new area surrounding the Shrine of Malakath. The shrine itself is actually still up there. I'm not sure why. I talked it over with Clef, who is not a landscaper of ours. I don't get it. Maybe someone else knows why. Maybe someone can explain it. But yeah, it's not supposed to be there. But as we walk up, a bit further east, find all these ruined walls. Remnants of... Whoops. Remnants of an older city. And there's actually a saltwater lake. Oh. Really annoying that the LOD is fucking up so bad. Yeah, okay, so for people who don't know, the blurry mess that's covering the area is the old, distant landscape, which I can't really get rid of right now. So it's kind of ruining everyone's vision. So I do really apologize for that, plus I'm getting tired and... Yeah. Let's make our way up to the estate. Show you around the area. Alright, so this is what was supposed to be the main gate leading into the city. And currently it's being inhabited by a local rich man. Lord Drad. Eventually this place is going to be filled with the ruins of such. There's actually a saltwater lake added, or saltwater, Sweetwater Lake added to the area 2, which was supposed to supply the town with fresh water. Aqueduct leading the water to the city. This is where the water was supposed to come. And you did a very nice job so far, Arxie. Has to be said. Ah, and I see I still have the invisible water bug. Yeah, let's not focus on that. The thing to focus on is that there's a big lake behind us, which is leading fresh water into such, or was supposed to, fast, supply to people with fresh water. Very nice. And these are the rock formations you can expect from this area. Lots of sandstone. Oops. Surrounded by gold, yellow grass. Lead anywhere? It does. Wait. All right. I am getting a little tired and there's still some stuff I want to show. So if it's okay with everyone, I want to move over to the Valus Mountains. An area that Clef J has been working on of late. Which is pretty interesting. I'm not 100% sure where this new location was exactly. I think it's around Dive Rock, but it might be a bit further down west. We'll see. As you can see, Dive Rock hasn't really been touched. Yup. Shit. Dive Rock hasn't really been touched yet. The area surrounding it has. We do intend to make this Dive Rock as epic as we can. So you can launch the Adoring Fan all the way to the Imperial City. But it seems like Clef J has been working on the mountain range surrounding it, which is very nice. But Bear Rock is not what we are going to be looking at right now. We are going to be looking at it a bit further down. Damn, this thing is a beast. There we go. Okay, so this is actually a new location added by Clef J. These are the Jarl Mountains. On the other side lies Skyrim. We have some very well placed remnants of a Nordic ruin. I have to say, I really do like the new snowy pine trees a lot more than the old ones. But yeah. As we find our way down, we actually come across a buttload of ice. Now, this ice is part of a new glacier that leads fairly high up into the mountains. Now, in the lore, I didn't read this myself, so I'm more or less quoting from what I heard a few weeks back, but in the lore there was supposed to be this, I think this Akaviri bathhouse surrounded by natural hot water springs, which is exactly where we are at right now. This location was purely added because of lore that was dug up by Clef J, I think. It's a very interesting location. Up into the cold, cold mountains. The Valus Mountains. Nice place for a traveler to warm their feet. Let's walk down this glacier and visit the Ancestor Moth Temple. Then I might just be calling it quits since I had a pretty mind-numbing day. And the game froze. That's not good. There we go. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Alright, well, now that we're down here, this is a new glacier added by Clef J. All the water that comes from the melting ice leads into this river. And here we have a natural ice cave with mammoth that starts to unfreeze, I guess. Correct words, the best one I can come up with right now. Yeah, looking really nice. This was actually a suggestion from someone during the stream, during the landscaping stream. This was being made, so that was good. The area turned out very nice. Geronimo! And once again, this is not finished yet by any means.
Go on. Have
Have you heard about Kvatch? They say that Deidre came from Oblivion and burned the whole city to the ground.
The ground. Pretty happy about how this area turned out. I know Clef J is too. Again, still not finished. A lot of work needs to be done. But it's shaping up pretty nicely. And Lord Ogrup. Again, Rugdumpf system. It was actually something that I really enjoyed working on together with Clef J. He's a really great guy. Thing is, I have a lot of ideas for certain locations in Cyrodiil, and it's kind of funny how they actually turn out in game. Pretty great. I usually have a pretty good idea for these locations. Then the landscaper will come with their own thing, and we can together kind of combine those two ideas, create something even better. Pretty much what happened right here. Yeah. Let's visit the Ancestral Moth Temple. Then maybe go back to the Waterfront District. I mean, Imperial City is always pretty popular, and earlier today Clef J streamed work on the Water District, so that would be nice. Will the map be replaced with a paper map? Probably not. It might be as an optional thing. Alright, so this is the Ancestral Moth Temple. These trees are currently placeholders. And it does look like Clef J removed a few. These trees will be replaced with red cherry tree, which attract the ancestor moths and are being kept alive here by these monks who serve the trees with magic. I'm curious to see how this will look with red cherry tree. Even better. Currently the pink stands out. Plus I think these are from the KGB pack. They're generally not that fantastic. So let's actually follow the river from Lord. Yeah, the problem isn't that other people have done paper maps, it's that we have to invest time into making a paper map of our own. Time that we can spend on something else. Probably a bigger priority. It's a really cool idea, and if possible, I would really appreciate it. We can find the time to do it properly, but right now it's really not a big concern at all. Alright, we're coming close to the end of the stream because I just realized I almost fell asleep. What do you think? This is pretty much where Clef's work ends. Actually, it doesn't look. It does. Right around here. I really hope you enjoyed this stream. Damn, I talked about a lot of stuff. Mostly tried to focus on progress that we have made the last couple of weeks. As mentioned at the beginning of the stream, this was a request from you guys, so I try to do streams like this every 2 weeks. I'm trying to think of stuff that I should really be showing off, or that I forgot. God damn, this landscaping is awesome. But I'm not sure if it's from Clef or from Ollie, the new guy. I'm thinking it's Ollie because this should be his claim. Then again, it's fairly close to Clef's. Not sure. Another stream to look forward to is a new landscaping stream by Clef J, because he will soon be working on the west weld as he starts to finish up the Valus Mountains. The first pass of the Valus Mountain, anyway. That should be really interesting. He has a lot of cool ideas for that area, I think. So we will see. To end the stream, I will bring you guys back to the Imperial City waterfront, which he worked on during a stream today. And then I'm going to turn off my microphone, sit back, and let you guys enjoy the music and the view while I try to answer some questions in the chat. So, I realized what I can show you. I can show you some more weapons and stuff. Show the 3D department some more love. Alright, so the stream so far has lasted 2 hours and 30 minutes, which isn't bad. Could have been a lot longer, but yeah, I've had a pretty exhausting day, so sorry about that. Alright, so let me find a cool little spot. While I walk through the waterfront, I will explain some stuff that's been changed. The waterfront in Oblivion is very limited. A very small place, and supposed to be this lowest of the low kind of location. You know, this is where the poorest people reside. This is the place where you get stabbed to death because you carry 10 septums on you. Oblivion didn't really reflect this all that well. So we added a lot more houses to the place, dirtier streets with puddles of mud, more debris, more shit, essentially. And the goal is to end up with this makeshift looking area, which is what it is, because there was never really supposed to be like another living district or living quarter on the Imperial City Isle. Just started as someone making or building a makeshift house, and kind of spread there, and it turned into what it is right now. Yeah, so far so good. It's going to be improved upon a lot. But for now, it's a pretty nice place to end. Okay, stuff's not working, that's fine. Trying to give you a good view of the area. Looks pretty good. I should mention that this area, as everything that you've seen today, is a work in progress. Clef J actually worked on it more today. It's looking even better than it does now. But still, nice to show off. So you guys can enjoy the view. I will try my best to answer questions at. For those who've been watching all this time, thank you very much for your attention. I hope you enjoyed. Give the moderators some love. Most of them are contributors to the project, and I appreciate them trying to answer questions and keeping the chat clean. So big credit to them for helping us out there. And I will be back hopefully next week or the week after that. So have a good weekend. Love, D-Keys. D-Key. One slider. And good night. Oh yeah, nope, come back. Good point. Someone pointed out that I forgot to show the weapons, which I promised. Which I will do right now. Blackwater Blade, made by JRC. It has a very nice sheath, which I will show you as soon as it starts to get light again. There we go. Very nice. Next up, Chillrend, made by Kettlewitch. Not finished. Doesn't have a sheath. Actually has a flowing sheath. Should be finished fairly soon, so I'm really forward to that. Next up, very important, the club. You can bash someone's skulls in with this. Wouldn't leave home without it. Then dwarven stuff, ebony blades will probably get remade because quality wise they are Sword of Jiglag. Important for important for the Shivering Isles DLC, which will be included with Skyblivion. Maze of Molag Bal. Also, not entirely sure if this will be in the final game. For now, it does look pretty cool though. And Volundrung. Alright, sorry, I actually thought I had more weapons than this. No, wait. I do? Yeah, nah. Yeah, okay, give me a second. There we go. It's the new Mehrunes Razor Dagger. Not finished. Actually improved upon somewhat. But it is showable. There we go. One thing I like or dislike the most about Skyrim is weird animations. A good example is this. Like, why is it that when the player holds a one-handed weapon, all the fingers are so fucked up? I mean, this does not look like a strong grip to me. Like you're holding a butterfly and you don't want it to break. It's very weird. I don't get it. But yeah. This was the stream. I'm very tired now, so this is where I'm going to leave you off. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you will come back in the future. Good night, good morning, good day, depending on where you live. It does. It's exactly like he's trying to drink tea. Very politely. With very, very well, good manners. Thank you and everything. Alright, thank you for all your attention. Thank you for your questions. And this was it. So, until next time. Oh yeah, it's also good to mention, we're always looking for more volunteers. If you are a 3D artist, if you have experience making concept art, if you know how to use the creation kit and want to apply as a landscaper, please do. We have plenty of spots left for people to fill. And we can really always use the help. So, yep. Once again, thank you for watching. Have a good day. And we will see you next time.